Hey Crafty Babes, Andrea here. I am so excited to share some stamping techniques with you girls for our December member video. I have 6 different techniques I'm going to show you. Let's get started. The first one is going to be a clustering sort of situation. I'm going to be using some scrap pieces of paper just to give you an idea of how you can do this and just different things you can do with this technique. So I'm going to use, let me actually grab a couple other stamp sets. Let's do that one. And we'll do this one. It's not going to make a whole lot of sense as far as the words that I'm using, but it will make sense as far as how you can do something like this. One of the things I love to do is clustering word phrases. So let's just say we take this stamp. We're just going to take a bunch of different stamps, different sizes, different fonts, different shapes. So I like to really mix in lots of different types. So then maybe we pull in a couple of different phrases to throw in down here. Actually, I want maybe like down here, and then let's pick another circle or like a larger phrase. Actually, I think I want a circle here. Or maybe like this, something that's not scripty like that other one. Here's one, that's really fun. Okay, one thing to note when you're doing something like this is, for me, being sort of a lazy crafter, I would want to just pick up all of the stamps at once on my block, stamp the whole thing and stamp it down, which sometimes works if you're using the same exact manufacturer or the same stamp set. But the problem you might run into with using various stamp sets is that they will vary in height. So you could easily grab them like this and they'll all be flush against your acrylic block on the back, but the actual impression may not appear as clear because one stamp might be smaller, therefore it's not going to get as much ink and you're not going to get the same impression as you get with the other one. So my suggestion is to do them individually, but that's completely up to you. So we could do maybe another little one down here like this. Okay, let's go for it. So the other thing to do also is you could do these in different colors. I'm just going to use black because it's easy and then I don't have to like super clean my stamps after I use them because we're going to be kind of reusing certain stamps. The idea here is that if you were to put your acrylic block down with other stamps sitting here, that you're probably going to get them stuck, and so you really want to do just one at a time. So you could lay out your stamps like this and then stamp them on another piece of paper. So that's what we're going to do just for the interest of getting things done. And excuse my acrylic block, I really meant to clean, I really did mean to clean my acrylic blocks this weekend, but I forgot. Although when all of the ink is sitting on it and it's on this white desk, it is actually a little bit easier to find the acrylic block, to be honest. Okay, so that is the first one. When I stamp with my stays on, I typically will just stamp off on a scrap piece of paper that I have sitting over here on the side of my desk. But I noticed that because I recently refilled the ink pad with some ink dropper, that there are some parts that just don't get as clean as I would like. So I do use a little baby wipe every now and then if I feel like the stamp off didn't work very well. I'm pretty sure this was, yeah, kind of like there-ish. So we will just continue stamping. Oh, I love that stamp. I love the really thin impressions. Now, I don't know about you guys. Do you guys like to clean your stamp blocks regularly? This is a great technique for just getting a lot of use out of your stamps. Like if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, I never use my stamps. This is a good way to kind of start digging into your stash, and you can really pull a bunch of different styles and fonts all together into one cute little thing. Now this could end up all being on one 3x4 journaling card. It can go down the center of your layout. It could really be like the full part of your layout. I think this one was over to the left just a little bit. I really like doing this technique. I just feel like it makes a statement. Okay, 2 more to kind of even it out, make it feel balanced. That's kind of the point of something like this, is just make it feel balanced. There you go. Something that, let me see if I can grab it from here. I did this and here is an example of doing this on a real life layout. There's just different stamps. These are all different stamps and I just clustered them all together. Super fun. Okay, number 2 is one of my favorite things to do, is to stamp on a label. So let's just say you've got, this is actually a great example right here. Let's say you've got this journaling card here. I'm gonna maybe glue this label down right here. I'm gonna keep it whole because this one is kind of hanging off the edge, so I'm just gonna put this one right here, kind of give it a little wonky to the side look. And then I'm gonna take, let me get my smaller acrylic block. This one just says details. And actually, let's do this. Let's do a yellow. Actually, let's do a red because I feel like there's just a little bit too much going on there. In the lighter colors, this will be a good one. I just want it to stand out a little bit so you guys can see it. So there's 2 things you could do here. You could do like a date stamp here. You could do just details like that. You could also do a second stamp, which leaves a little ghosting, or it's called ghosting or generational stamping, where it'll leave a lighter version. And you kind of just offset it just a smidge, but that's super fun. So I love to use labels as like a way to add an embellishment and then add a stamp on top of that. My favorite things would be little tiny words like this, anything that fits inside of it, including date stamps. Date stamps are super fun. All right, number 3 is doing an alpha title with a smaller phrase. So let me give you an example. I'm gonna grab this stencil alpha. This is from Illustrated Faith. And I am going to, oh my gosh, it's like suction cupped to the desktop. Okay, we are just going to spell out the word hello. So really quickly, and I will save room for that extra L. So let's just do this. I can tell that there's certain parts of my ink pad that still have a little too much ink, but that's okay. Actually, that one stamped really well. You couldn't even really tell, but I felt like there was a little too much squish going on. Okay, that looks good. So our title, we're just making this up on the fly. But you can make a title like this, and then, ooh, right underneath it could be this one right here. And actually, let's do this in red as well. This will look really fun. So this is the Felicity Jane stamp that says beautiful. And you can just layer right on top, covering up, just kind of making the tops touch. Hello, beautiful. Isn't that super cute? So you could do a bigger title like this with smaller words. You could even, if you were to do the hello, you could have used the date or the day of the week, or you could have used this one, hello today, and then check off some things. It's just nice to be able to combine. So if you are going to use this stencil, then maybe another thing you could use would be like a lowercase, like a smaller statement or a phrase that doesn't compete too much with the style of that particular title. Okay, number four. This one is a super fun one. We are going to do solid and outline. So there's several, stamp companies out there that make a solid and an outline of their numbers or their alphas, and they are really super fun to use. Sidebar, when I use my Distress Oxides, they come off really clean with a baby wipe. But not necessarily always does that happen with the StazOn. And you can't really stamp off the colored ones, the Distress Oxides. So I usually keep baby wipes next to me for the colored stamps. Okay, this one, we are going to use this these are numbers. These numbers from Kerri Bradford. So what I like to do is actually do the solid color first and then the outline over it, because the outline is typically going to be darker and you want that outline to be on top and not covered up by the solid. So what's today's date? 25. Cool. These are really fun numbers. I already did a 25 for my December daily album. Actually, let's use this. I don't want to use red. Let's actually use, I know, it's a shocker. I don't want to use red. Just want a different color. Let's use peacock feathers. This will be really nice contrast. Sometimes when you have a thicker stamp like this that has a lot to fill in, I like to take the ink to the stamp instead of the stamp to the ink, if that makes sense. It just helps you see the coverage better. This is such a gorgeous color. All right, when you're stamping, don't rush it. Feel free to make sure you've got a good amount of pressure. Sometimes you even have to stand up, but look at how clean that impression is. They don't always come out like that. I'm getting really lucky here with you guys today. Okay, let's do a 5. This will be cute. Oops, dog hair. Big shocker. No matter what, it's always everywhere. Just wanting to get good coverage because you got to get up against the edges and in the center, and I think we're going to miss a little bit in the middle. For whatever reason, that middle part of the 5 is not wanting to get stamped up. That's okay. I love the imperfections. As long as the ink impression doesn't appear wet, like it's got water in it. I've used a lot of different colored inks, and I honestly have not been happy with the way that they come out. They're always very watery. So I've had a lot of success with these Distress Oxides because they have a dry kind of sense to them. It's like they're just dry now. They're like it's like a, you know, a cross between a chalk ink and a dye, which I really loved chalk inks when they were kind of out and popular. But I am a huge fan of these Distress Oxides. Pretty much have all the colors that I could ever need at this point. All the colors that I typically use, and they are my fave. Okay, actually, should have cleaned up a little. All right, now we're gonna grab the 2 and the 5 from the outline. And the fun thing to do with these is to do just a little bit of overlapping. So let's just see how this works out. I don't know if I made them, if I made the solids close enough. I really hope I'm not shaking the camera too much with all this. Okay, you're gonna see my head for a second. I just wanna line it up. So I'm going down and to the right, hopefully an even amount. And with the stays on, it's like you kind of have to be quick because it dries so fast. But look at how fun that is. And I will probably be able to, yep, I can just stamp off on that one. And then we're gonna do the 5. And you can go the opposite way on this one, like you could go up and to the left, but I like to keep them similar, like it just makes it feel like it wasn't meant to be that way. There we go. Now, something that I like to do when I don't get the impression that I'm looking for, hoping for, and I don't think that that's bad, but I feel like the top of the 5 really has no definition right there. And part of it is because you're stamping on another stamp color. So I'll just take a pen and kind of just fill it in a little bit. You do kind of have to have a careful hand, but it's also, stamps are very imperfect. So you got to just try to embrace that part of it. But when it just doesn't make the design look good. So down here, like, I'm not going to fill that in because it feels right. These lines aren't as thick as the stamp is, so I'm going to go through, and you can use like a felt pen or something. I'm just grabbing my journaling pen that was sitting on my desk because I know I can just fill it in a little bit. Yeah, fill it in a little bit. Look at that. How fun is that? So there are, like Elle Studio makes a good one. I only have the outline, but they make one that has a stripe and a dot that are the solids, and those are really fun to play with. You could do like a dark pink and a light pink. Even with this sort of technique, you don't have to do a black outline. You could do gray, you could do a lighter color. Like it might be fun if you did like these 2 colors. Like if you did the solid, this light yellow, and then the darker color could be the outline, that would be really cute. All right, number 5 is masking. So I'm just gonna keep the same paper here, and I'm gonna make a title that says, let's see. Make it say something with 3 letters that I don't have to repeat. Well, I do have to repeat these, but that's okay. I'm gonna spell babe because we are crafty babes. So let's get a couple of these letters on. There's a couple of steps here. Let's actually just do bay because it's funny. And then I don't have to repeat the letter. Okay, so there's a couple of steps here. So you want to get your spacing correct. So let's just say you're on a 4x6, right? So you just want to make sure you know where your stamp, where you want it to end up. And then you want to figure out what masking you actually want to do. So for this particular one, I want to put another word in the middle of this. So I want to do, this makes me happy. This feels long enough to where it could, yeah, that'll feel natural. Okay, so first thing is let's get another little scrap piece of paper and we have to make the mask. So the first thing is to make the mask. So we are going to stamp a sample. So this does not have to be a perfect impression. This is a sample to get the size. So just stamp it down and then you're just gonna fussy cut. And I would say you just need to give yourself a little bit of spacing. So don't make it too big on the outside of the letters, but just enough to have a little bit of breathing room. Okay, now you're gonna place this down where you want that to actually live in the finished product, because we're gonna then stamp over it. Let's actually do it right there on the top. Can you guys, I hope you can see through that, but you'll see it when we're done. Okay, let's actually use this same color. Actually, I can probably just, and what we're doing is we're stamping over this mask. So we're masking off that particular area. So we're gonna do a nice hard impression, because what you're doing is you're actually trying to get the parts that are laying right over the edge. You're trying to get them to make a good impression. So that's a nice mask right there. And then you're gonna take your statement again, but I'm gonna do it in black so that it has a little bit of contrast. And you're gonna stamp it right in that blank spot. And now you've got a mask. Isn't that super fun? You could do that with anything. Just get something that's like a bigger letter and something that's a smaller, and as long as it feels like it fits naturally inside of there, you'll be good. You'll be good in golden. Super fun. The last one is something that I do every single time I create a weekly page, is a weekly title card. So let me actually put some of these back. So I mentioned the Kerri Bradford stamp and the Elle Studio stamp. This one is from Illustrated Faith. I mentioned that one too. This here is from the Creatives Club. So this is from Susanna. She is made in Mojave. So you can grab this stamp set, which is my absolute favorite. It is my go-to. It's called Everyday Things. I love it so much. It just has all the best little phrases. I'll link to all these in the video so you guys can go grab whatever you might be interested in. This one that we used, that was the home, this is called Home Sweet Home. It's an older Kelly Purkey set from 2017, but I use it a lot now that I'm working from home. And then this is my stamp set that I created with Citrus Twist Kits. And that's what we're going to use for this last technique, is we are going to make a weekly title card. So there are so many things that you can do with this stamp set and just a basic number stamp. So we are going to use, let's use this 3x4 card right here. My go-to for this year has been this stamp from Kerri Bradford called By the Numbers. It's just got a really good, nice size number. These are 1.5 inches tall, so they're pretty significant. And I've also been using the smaller version of that, which is this one here. And this is called Brooklyn Etc. And it's just a smaller version. So I think these are probably 1 inch tall. Yeah, but they're nicer for now that I'm doing a bit of a smaller format. I can fit both sizes actually in that little weekly square. But for this purpose, we're gonna use the bigger number and we're gonna use my weekly stamp set. So let's actually do, let's do this. We're gonna use a week. I like this one. It's nice and clean. See, I'm losing all my blocks. All right, so week, we'll do this one in black, and then we'll do some other things in the fun teal color. So we'll do week. I could have had a better impression, but we're just playing around. And again, stamping does not have to be perfect. It took me a long time to get more comfortable using stamps because they were so imperfect all the time, and I felt like I couldn't control the end result. But it turns out that they just end up having a lot of character, and that's one of my favorite parts. So we've got these little words here that help make certain statements. So now that we've got this kind of taller sans serif, I'd like to use something that's like maybe italic and has a bit more of just a thicker font. So mixing fonts when you're using stamps is really fun, and that's actually going to make your stuff look a lot better. So then we will just stamp this in the color. So now it's going to say our week. Isn't that cute? And then we'll go back in with the numbers and do the numbers in the color as well. And then we'll add a little surprise after that. Our week, so let's do, I don't know, let's use some fun numbers. An 8. Let's do like 48. Ooh, that means like close to Christmas time. I think we might be at week 48. Let's see. Let's try to get a good solid impression here. It looks like one of them's going to be black and one of them's going to be teal, huh? Apparently I've used black on that 4 before. That's really nice. All right, quick clean off. And then from here, what we can do is maybe do another little statement. So here on the weekish stamp, we could also do, oh, this would be fun, week in review. Actually, let's do this just another week. I like the typewriter font. And then we'll do it in this teal again, right underneath, so that kind of feels like it's kind of part of it. And then we can use our date stamp. I have 3 of my favorite date stamps here. One of them is just an 8-digit stamp. One of them is a 6-digit, and then this little mini. I have these linked in my faves page. This is a 00 size, so it's a teeny tiny little thing. I love it so much. And then the 6 and the 8-digit are really fun. So I think for the size of this, I think we'll do the 8-digit because that feels really fun. So a couple of things that you could do with this would be to just do the whole date, and then the first of the date and then the second. You know what I'm saying? Like the first date of the week and the last date of the week. So let's just do that. And let's just use the numbers that I have here, but we'll do them in black because now we can add a little bit more black to the bottom to kind of balance it out. And let's just stack them like this because that looks really good. And then we'll just move the dates around just a little bit, just so that you can see what it might look like. A little wonky. That looks really super fun. So that's how you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stamps just to make one title card. And think about how cute it would be to take this to the sewing machine and put a little black stitching around here, or even just take your pen and do like this cute little wonky line, maybe do like a blip, 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 blip. That's the official sound. So the sound of my people. Maybe another little blip, blip, blip. Go to the edge and find yourself right back. How cute is that? So girls, I really hope that, well, number one, that I can clean this mess up. Number two, that you can find something from this video to help you use your stamps more often. There is so much you can do with them, and there's no sense in spending like $16 on a stamp and then letting it sit there. So I am here to help you figure out ways to use your stamps so that they don't just sit there looking pretty and collecting dust. I would love to see what you do after you watch this video. So I will start a post in our group, and then you can post in there your creations, and I can't wait to see them. And we will talk soon. See you, girls.